Hi, I'm Brian Pertl, Dean of the Lawrence Conservatory of Music, and you are all musicians. I'll let that sink in for a moment. My charge today is to speak to you about the role of a liberal arts education in the 21st century. And I will do this through the eyes, or rather the ears, of a musician. I'll get this out of the way right up front. A liberal arts approach to education is the ideal approach for this fast-changing, interconnected, collaborative world of the 21st century, where the jobs of tomorrow haven't even been imagined today. A broad and deep study of the liberal arts and hard sciences allows one to approach problems from multiple angles, drawing on the lessons learned from each discipline's approach. At its best, a liberal arts education produces collaborative, innovative, multidisciplinary problem solvers, which is exactly what this world needs. I will hasten to add, however, that merely studying a broad variety of disciplines does not a liberal arts education make. A student needs to be encouraged, cajoled, pushed to make that intellectual leap to become truly cross-disciplinary in their thinking. And the magic ingredient, which makes this magnificent leap possible, is creativity. Creativity allows us to dance between disciplines. Dance between disciplines. And by this I mean the act of easily moving from one disciplinary approach to another, and the art of comfortably occupying that liminal space between two or more disciplines, gaining inspiration from each. Literally dancing between disciplines. And it's in these between spaces that the magic happens, the inspiration strikes. So this beautiful idea of a multidisciplinary education, which is both deeply integrative and creatively explorative, is a liberal arts education at its finest. But here's the hitch. This beautiful approach cannot be reserved for a small number of liberal arts colleges. In many ways, college is far too late for a student to gain the full benefits of a liberal arts education. Instead, this approach needs to become foundational to our entire primary and secondary educational system. The liberal arts need to begin in kindergarten. And in particular, we need to foster that creative improvisational impulse so dancing between disciplines becomes a way of life from our earliest days. And since you are all musicians, I didn't forget, let's look at music as a magnificent means of unleashing our creative selves, for releasing that cross-disciplinary dancer. So for music to achieve this lofty aim, we need to approach music education in radically different ways from what we do today. To begin with, we can no longer look at music as extracurricular, as something reserved for after school, as something which is expendable and goes away with the first budget cut, or something that is reserved for the talented few. Instead, we need to embrace the fact that as humans, we are all musical beings. We are all musicians. Think about it. Music, like language, exists in every culture around the globe. So why do we choose to marginalize it? What if we chose to approach the nurturing of our creative selves with the same rigor we use to teach our reading and writing and science and history. Master music educator Leela Ramagopal, who's with us today, has been thinking about this for a long time and has this provocative response. Do we pull little Billy out of math class because he has problems with addition and subtraction? Do we set him aside and say, wow, this seems tough for you. I guess you're not arithmetically talented. Maybe you should just quit right now. Do we pull Sally out of reading because she picks it up more slowly than her peers? Of course we don't. This is unthinkable. But this happens in music classes across this nation every single day. There are probably people right here in this room who are told as young students they had no musical talent. There are probably people in this room who were told they have a tin ear. There are probably people in this room who were even told not to sing with the rest of their class because their voice would ruin the performance. This is tragic. This needs to change. Leela Ramagopal has a mantra that every child's musical birthright needs to be honored. And this is what we need to do on a much broader scale. Besides this core change of philosophy, we need to approach the teaching of music in the classrooms differently as well. We need to push beyond passive music making to active music creating. We need to focus more on composition and improvisation, which, if you think about it, are two sides of the same creative coin. Improvisation is just real-time composition, and composition is just slow motion improvisation. So what if a child's first attempts at composition coincided with their first attempts at story writing? What if a child could improvise with musical notes with the same facility they improvise with words? Weaving stories with music like they weave stories with language. It would be wonderful. It would be beautiful. And this is not just a dream. We actually have two master music educators right here in this room that are working hard to make this a reality. In the music program Leela Ramagopal created, she did indeed honor every child's musical birthright. In her program, every child, K through 8, had music every single day. And every child drummed, and every child danced, and every child sang, and every child composed, and every child improvised, and every child played and played and played and played and gained a confidence in their creative self. In her classroom, there were no musicians and non-musicians. Every child knew in her heart that she was a musical being. We also have with us today Matthew Turner, who's playing cello. Matthew is one of the nation's leaders in bringing improvisation into our nation's classrooms. Matt has worked with hundreds of schools across this country and introduced thousands of children to the wonders of discovering their creative selves through improvisation. So for both Leela and Matthew, improvisation is core to their teaching philosophy. So what is it about musical improvisation that makes it such a powerful tool for releasing our creative selves, for freeing our cross-disciplinary dancer? Wow, we are listening to a creative, collaborative, improvisational tour de force. Think about what's going on right at this moment. 3 musicians, ears open, are hearing input from multiple musical sources. Their brains are processing this information and making decisions about what they can add to this musical story. Once those decisions are made, complex motor functions are activated, which releases their musical contribution. Once they start playing, they're not only listening to the music around them, but the music within them. At this moment, these musicians are hyper aware of everything that's going on around them and within them. The beauty they create surrounds them. It's exhilarating, it's inspirational, and it creates a space which, once found, the creative mind wants to continuously recreate. It is a space for deep play. It is a space for deep listening. It is a space where time is suspended and an hour can go by in the blink of an eye. So just imagine if this creative, collaborative, improvisational musical play were nurtured throughout every child's K through 12 education. And what if that went hand in hand with a study of the liberal arts and hard sciences? The scene would be set for amazing cross-disciplinary play. And the creative confidence this would instill is the exact mindset we want as those students gleefully leap into the study of other disciplines, joyfully dance between disciplines. We want them to be infinitely curious. We want them to be asking, what if I try this? What if I combine this with that? Ooh, 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 did you hear that? What if I added this? This is a place where music gives them the power to see and hear beyond disciplinary boundaries, to peek over those fences, to be curious about what's on the other side, and it gives them the courage to rip down those fences entirely to see the magnificent interconnectedness of it all. Musical play provides a template for thinking, as Daniel Pink would say, symphonically, for listening deeply, for creatively combining disciplinary approaches in magnificent new ways. And yes, for this beautiful dream to become a reality, all disciplines, and not just music, need to be taught in such a way that the student knows she has room to play. She has room to share and collaborate. She has room to explore. She needs to know that she has room to push beyond those traditional boundaries. But when this happens, all disciplines, when taken as a whole, create an irresistible playground for that creative, collaborative, improvisational, playful mind. Silos are destroyed. Walls are burst asunder, and that leaves room for our bold, creative explorers to leap into that liminal space and share and collaborate and riff to each other's moves and riff to each other's music and riff to each other's ideas. It gives them room to dance. To dance within disciplines, dance across disciplines, dance between disciplines. And this, I believe, is the primary charge of a liberal arts education in the 21st century, to nurture those creative, collaborative, multidisciplinary problem solvers, to give the world more dancers between disciplines. And music can free that dancer in all of us.
Woo!